It's inevitable. It's happening. Don't worry, it's better than that because I've officially dished my phone. It's down the drain. August is over. It's fine. I can't say I'm too excited about it. I learned my lesson, and give me a second. Hear me out. That's all. Welcome back to my channel, everybody. It is Labor Day weekend. I am officially off of work until Tuesday. I am so ready for the long weekend. I'm so ready for fall. My birthday is over, and that officially means that I am ready for cooler weather, sweater weather. I'm ready for hot cocoa. I'm ready to get cozy and bundle up at home. I'm ready to not feel icky every time I walk outside. We're going to pretend like fall is here this weekend. The weather's been a lot cooler here in Kansas City. It's 80s this weekend, which, yes, is on the cooler side. You're probably wondering what we're going to be doing in this video. We're going to have a monthly reset. We're going to get ready for September. We're going to get ready for fall, and that means full-on monthly reset. I've officially dished my phone. It's down the drain. I have decided to move on to writing all notes in analog format. As you can see, I'm using my notebook that I made myself, and I wrote down what we're going to be doing in this video so I wouldn't forget. First things first though, my hair is looking like something else. I am heading to get a haircut today, and I can't wait. It's just a short trim, just a little snip here, snip there. I am actively trying to grow my hair out, so we're not gonna get it cut short. I repeat, we're not getting it cut short. Right? I'm a sucker for short hair. I can't help it. I'm going to share my August reading wrap up, what I enjoyed, what I didn't get to finish, because there are a few. Since this is a monthly reset video, I'm going to share my September goals and intentions that I have planned for the month for myself. I did that in August, and I found that it was really humbling, and also it was a really good way to ground myself and come back to what I really want to focus on. Speaking of goals, I'll give you a teaser for one of them. For the next 12 weeks, I am planning on making my way through The Artist Way by Julia Cameron. I started it on Monday, and I'm only on week 1, so not far into my 12-week journey. I really want to tap back into my creativity in this world of entertainment and technology. I had mentioned that I constantly feel like I'm using my phone, which, don't worry, I threw that away, remember? It's in the garbage at this point, somewhere out in the world. I want to come back to my roots. I used to be such a creative individual. I've been really just thinking about how I haven't found that spark or creativity in quite some time. So I'm going through this 12-week process of The Artist Way, and we'll spend some time chatting about it, which is why I call this a chatty video. I hope you enjoy this monthly reset. We are gonna head out. Let's feel like a new person again. Seriously, look at this hair. I don't know what it is about curly hair, but one side is longer than the other. It's growing so wonky, and it's not my hairstylist's fault. Kinsey knows what she's doing. She's my neighbor and bestie, so I trust her with my life and my hair. All right, enough with the mic. Let's head out and spend a wonderful day together the next few days. Happy Saturday from me and my new hair. It looks like I got a lot cut off, but really it was just a trim. Since my hair is so coarse and curly, it bunches up and it just looks like we chopped off more than we actually did. I thought I hadn't gotten my hair cut since May or June, but Kinsey and I looked back to the last time I was at the salon, February. I had not cut my hair since February. There was a mullet in the back. To be fair, I never look at the back of my hair, so how would I have known? Even though it looks a little bit shorter, we had to chop some of those layers so my hair looked more balanced so it could grow a little bit longer. And next time, I'm not waiting 6 whole months to get my hair cut. I already made an appointment for December. I learned my lesson. Speaking of a new month, I know in my summer diaries I mentioned that I'm working on different things for self-improvement. I'm working on being more positive with my intentions. I'm trying to be more intentional with the things I do and with my life. I feel like I've been in such a rut the past few weeks, and I've been really trying to reflect on what my 32nd year will look like and how my future in general would look like. I kind of freaked out a bit because I don't create art often at all. And it wasn't until recently that I realized that any memories and moments that I've captured in my life have been on my phone. I've been thinking about how if I left this world right now, there aren't any pieces of memento that I've created that would be here to pass on to my friends and family. And I really want to change that, but I don't really know how. I'm somebody who likes things to have order and have structure. And sometimes with being creative, you need to let that mindset go. And I struggle with that. So I started the Artist's Way. It is a 12-week course that teaches you how to be creative again for those who used to be creative once upon a time ago, or it teaches you how to find that creativity if you are wanting and choosing to go down the path of being an artist. I believe that anyone and everyone can create art because art is about feeling. It's not about perfection. Art is about building something that you can share with your loved ones and community. Art can be for yourself as well. And for me, what art looks like right now is journaling and writing down my ideas, writing down how I'm feeling, my thoughts, my emotions, how my day goes, keeping track of my days through writing is still a form of art for me. But what I also want to do is get into junk journaling. I want to get into physical pieces that I can put together to create art, like a collage, a junk journal, scrapbooking. But my mind doesn't know where to start. My mind doesn't know what to do. I have been down Pinterest rabbit holes of junk journal ideas, and I'm on Journal Talk, and I love everyone's spreads. They are so cool, and I want to do that, but for some reason my brain just can't comprehend what to do or where to get the ideas from, even though technically the ideas come from within you. So I decided to start the Artist's Way as a guide to help me let go of those feelings of perfection and to guide me to think more like an artist and think with my left brain more so than my right brain. I want to be able to create art without judgment from myself, from other people. I want to be able to create freely and just do something different with my life and have those tangible assets that I can look back on that's not on my damn phone. This thing right here, this thing. I've also been taking notes, and there's one note from chapter 1 that I really want to remember as I go through this 12-week journey. Art is the imagination at play in the field of time. Let yourself play. I just want to have a better relationship with creativity without critiquing myself. I used to be creative in elementary school, middle school, high school. I did ceramics, I took photography, I took digital photography. I just surrounded myself with art. I loved photography, and I think my YouTube sort of stems from photography back in high school and being able to take photos to share these moments and memories. I want to be able to just create art and tap into that inner child, because when I was a little kid, and you probably can agree with this too, we had no worries. We just did whatever we wanted, and art was fun for us. I want to bring that back into my life. So on top of reading the material for each week, I have to focus on two things. One being morning pages. Morning pages is something that you do first thing when you wake up. It is stream of conscious writing. It's basically a brain dump. You write 3 pages full of your thoughts, whatever your heart desires. And the whole idea is for you to let everything go and to start your day letting these emotions off of your chest. And that's one of the things that I've been focusing on, and I've actually been really enjoying it. I at first thought that I would not be able to write 3 pages worth of brain dump every single day. And that takes me about 40 to 50 minutes in the morning. So I'll do that before I'll pick up a book. I found that it's really refreshing, and it's also very reflective. And I found that I do have something to say, and I do have these thoughts that I have to get off of my chest. So I have been really enjoying the act of morning pages, and it's been really helpful to just start my day off with more positivity. And what's interesting about morning pages is that once you're done writing your morning pages for the day, you're not supposed to look at your morning pages ever again. So I have not looked back to my first entry. I haven't looked back to yesterday's morning pages. I'm not looking at today's morning pages that I already wrote. So every day is new, and it's a time for you to dump. Just let everything go. Stream of conscious thoughts, writing it down. And it has to be handwritten. So I feel like I'm working on my handwriting. The second thing that you have to do every single week on top of morning pages and journal prompts is take yourself on an artist date. This can be 2 hours of any creative activity that you want to do for yourself, and you have to do it by yourself. The idea is to gain some inspiration from the outdoors. The idea is to start to fall back in love with the arts again, and doing it with yourself can help you reflect on your own and also learn on your own. This week's Artist's Way, I didn't leave the house, but instead I did something that was terrifying to me, and the whole reason why I started Artist's Way. I created my first junk journal spread, and I'll share it right here. I'm really proud of it. It's just this about me page, and I struggled with where to even begin. And that's the thing. Art is art. You're just supposed to do. You shouldn't think too much about it. You just need to start. Maybe Artist's Way is working. I mean, I'm only 1 week in. I know I'm rambling about this. I hope that there's someone out there who's watching this who is interested in what I have to say and my yaps. Week 1 was a chapter about our shadow artists. Shadow artists are artists that judge ourselves and don't let us lead to our potential and to let ourselves create. And that's what I've been trying to overcome this week with my prompts, with my morning pages. In a sense, shadow artists are artists that want but don't. The whole idea of this chapter is learning to overcome being your shadow artist and to just do. I have one more quote that I want to share. Creativity is play, but for the shadow artist, learning to allow themselves to play is hard work. So letting yourself be creative is difficult for some, like me. Letting yourself to let go of the perfectionism, the judgment, letting yourself go of thinking too hard and just doing, so you're not the shadow artist anymore, you're the artist. that's all. We've made it. It is September 2nd. The whole point of this video is to get ready for fall, get ready for September. We chatted a little bit about my Artist's Way journey and starting something new with the new month and the season. I thought I could take some time to chat through some of my goals and intentions that I wrote down for myself. I did this last month, and it was a really nice way for me to ground myself into what is important to me. It's been nice to set those goals and boundaries for myself in my personal life and think a little bit more about what I want out of a specific month. We'll start with goals first. My first goal is to have a low spend month. I need to take a beat. I need to check my spending. That means no more books. Yes, book buying ban. Everyone says it. I'm saying it. It's happening. It started like last week. So before September. See, I'm already doing a great job with my goals, right? I am hoping to write down things that I want on a wish list. And at the end of September, if I really want it, if it's something that I still think about, at the end of the month, then I'll consider purchasing it for myself in October. This is going to be a way for me to be more mindful of my consumption as well. And the second goal is going to happen very soon. It's going to happen on Sunday, September 7th, is to run a 10K. I am running a 10K with Mark on Sunday. That's coming up. And that's just a goal for myself, so I can say that I did it. It's inevitable. It's happening. I can't say I'm too excited about it. This one I keep going back and forth about. I'm a firm believer in DNFing books. I think that it is so important to stop reading the books that you don't resonate with. Stop reading the books that you are glazing the pages by, for a lot of reasons. One being that it's not fair to finish a book that you end up not really reading and then writing a review about. It's not fair for the author. It's not fair to yourself. You should be reading books that you enjoy. It's also a good way to find books and genres that you don't like, but also guide you into a direction where you can find books that you do enjoy reading and you do like. And reading is subjective. I've always said that. Everyone has their own opinion and they're entitled to their own opinion when it comes to the books that they like and they don't like. However, I'm going to try something new, and give me a second. Hear me out. I want to try to not DNF books in September. If I am thinking about DNFing a book, I'm going to try not to, unless I have like the largest urge to DNF it. And I wrote down some reasons why it might be beneficial for me to not DNF a book. One of them being it helps you better articulate why you don't enjoy the book. When I DNF a book, I don't give it a review, I don't give it a rating, because I don't think that's fair for me to. I just say why I don't like it. But because I don't finish the book, should that make sense that I even tell you why I don't like it? Now I'm going in a circle in my head. I review books that I like, I review books that I read, and if I finish a book that I don't necessarily like, or a book that I thought about DNFing, I think that gives a better reason and justification as to why I didn't like the book. It can help you appreciate the books you finish and really enjoy. And I agree with this. Going back to saying that when you DNF books, it'll help you appreciate and find books that you actually enjoy. I think that can go with not DNFing books as well. I think that can go with when you choose to not DNF and when you choose to read the book, it gives you a better appreciation for other books that you've read and found. And I also think that can help you figure out the type of books that you like to read. Now I'm like second guessing myself. Maybe it's good to not DNF books as well. And then the last thing is a big one for me. It's that it can help you with critical thinking. When I write reviews and think about books that I really enjoy, it's really easy for me to write reviews because I'm so passionate about the book. I know why I really liked the book. If I don't finish a book and I DNF it, I just kind of write it off. I blow the book off. If I finish the book instead, then I'll have a better understanding of why I didn't like the book, and I can critically critique the book in a way to share why I don't like it or why I don't recommend it. I'm going to try this out. We'll see how I feel at the end of this month. And I'm already thinking about books that I've DNF'd before that I want to give a second chance. And that's where it got me thinking, should I be DNFing books? Those are my September goals. Those are the things that I want to achieve in September. Now I want to talk specifically about my September intentions. The first one being to practice being present. Life is crazy. We are so busy. We go to work, we come home, we exercise, we eat dinner, we go to sleep. Life is on repeat. I want to take time to be more present in those daily mundane tasks that I do. And I've noticed that since I've started morning pages and the artist's way, I've already been more intentional and present with the activities that I am doing. It's been such a relieving practice for me, and it's a time for me to sit down and slow down with my thoughts and process life and my morning and what I'm thinking. And I've enjoyed these slower moments of peace. I just want to be more intentional with every activity that I'm doing because it's going to make my day more meaningful. And my last intention is to be proud of my creativity. I'm going on this artist's way journey so I can learn to break down my barriers and not be afraid to create art and try different mediums. And I really want to focus on that in September. Create art that I don't think too much about, and also just be proud of it. For some reason, I am afraid to do this, and I don't know why. It's silly, I know, I'm silly, I get it. It's just what it is. And those are my intentions for the month of September and goals. I thought we could end this video with a reading wrap-up of all of the books that I read in August, all of the books that I DNF'd in August, and all of the books that I didn't get to in August. August was a very busy month. I was out of town, and I came back, and I had to celebrate, and August just flew by at that point. I realized that I had a decent August. I read some pretty good books, and by the end of August, I had some bangers. I had some 5 stars, and I'm here to tell you about them. There's 2 books that I didn't get to in August. The first one being Passion Project by London Sperry. I keep wanting to say Passion Pit, the band from a long time ago. I just couldn't get to this because I was just not in the mood to read a romance. I thought that I would be, which is why I had put this on my TBR, but I just did not want to read this book, so I might just have to save it for another month or wait until springtime next year when I'm more likely to read it. And then I took Wild Love by Elsie Silver to Colorado first week of August, and I could not get into this book. I already knew that I am not a fan of billionaire romance, and this is a billionaire romance. I just don't want to read this book, and it's making me question if I even want to continue because I'm not even sure if I want to read the series, and there's multiple books in this series. I've never read anything from Elsie Silver before. While we're at it, let's just talk about a book that I DNF'd. I DNF'd Lush by Rochelle Dowden Lord. This was a book that I saw at Barnes & Noble over 4th of July, and then it was like $35, and I didn't want to spend that much money even though I'm obsessed with the cover. So I found it at the library, and I have had this book for over 3 weeks. I've had it for so long, and I read 100 pages. I was very bored. The premise sounds so interesting. It seems like a character-driven story about 4 different wine experts who are at pivotal points in their lives, and they're invited to a wine estate or some famous wine snobs countryside for a few days. So the time period of the story is just a few days, and nothing happens. I'm telling you, nothing happens. It's just uppity people drinking wine and getting drunk, but nothing actually happens. And I love the idea. I would love to be uppity, my nose up, my nose covered in a glass. I would love to be this person just hanging out in a French vineyard, but I was bored, so I DNF'd it. And I don't feel bad about it. Now let's get into the books that I did end up reading. What Hunger by Catherine Dang. This was an arc that I was gifted by the publisher on NetGalley. The book is out now. This is a coming-of-age horror story about a Vietnamese girl who is navigating her culture, a death in the family, and just racism in her community and society, and what it means to have female agency. It's delicious. It's raw. It's such a short book, but there's so much that happens within it and character development with our main character that I really enjoyed. Think female rage. If you're a fan of Chlorine by Jade Song or Night Bitch by Rachel Yoder, then definitely check this book out. If you are going to pick this book up, definitely check the trigger warnings. This story is very heavy. It deals with grief, there's trauma, deals with racism, and also sexual assault and rape. So not a fun, loving, light book, but a book that I thoroughly enjoyed. The reason why I gave it a 4 out of 5 is because I just thought it was a tad slow in between, and some of the story could have been buttoned up a little bit to just be more cohesive. Other than that, it was a book that I'm really glad that I read, especially for someone who doesn't normally read coming of age stories. The battery died. I had my mic off. I forgot to hit record. We're gonna get through this. Wild Dark Shore by Charlotte McGonaghy. This is the perfect book that needs to be turned into an A24 film. This is eerie. It's atmospheric. It has to do with Mother Nature and how it's falling apart. This is a story about a family that lives on Shearwater in Antarctica, and they take care of the largest seed bank. No one else lives with them while the story is taking place. Shearwater is falling apart, and they need to save the seed bank and also flee Shearwater. While everything is unraveling, there's a mysterious woman who washes up the shore, and now our family is trying to figure out who this woman is, how they can get her to safety, and also how they can get themselves to safety as well. The story is in just a short of a few days, I think like maybe a week or less, and it's so interesting. Charlotte McGonaghy does such a wonderful job at describing nature and making us feel like we're there in Antarctica. I got chills reading this story, and also the fact that it added a mysterious element to it with this woman made this story even more enticing for me to finish. The ending is heartbreaking, but also hopeful. There's hopelessness and hope while reading this book, and I highly recommend. The Berry Pickers by Amanda Peters. I surprisingly loved this book, and not just for the cover. This is a story about a girl who goes missing, and we follow 2 different timelines and 2 different point of views as they both try to figure out what exactly happened. The story spans 50 years, and it's written so well because from the very beginning of the story, we know exactly what happened. We know that a girl goes missing, but we don't know how or why or what exactly happened. So it's written in such a unique way. It reminded me a lot of God of the Woods by Liz Moore, but I want to almost say better. God of the Woods is a 5-star read for me. It was pretty chunky. It's a perfect summer read. If you want something with less pages, but the same amount of substance, then I recommend you try Berry Pickers. This is a mystery and also a slow burn family saga that has a historical element to it. There is details about socioeconomic trauma during this time and just how people are treated, especially when we're reading from the two different point of views that we have. They're quite opposite from one another. I don't want to spoil anything, but I really enjoyed this book. I loved it. We read The Unworthy by Augustina Bazterrica for my August book club pick for Fable, and unfortunately, this was fine. I would say if you enjoy Handmaid's Tale, if you enjoy I Have Never Known Men, then try this book. I will say though, I enjoyed I Who Have Never Known Men way more than this book. I still don't really know or understand the story. The story takes place during a climate crisis, and it's basically a religious cult story, and we follow the narrator, who we don't know her name, as she is trying to rise up in the ranks of this religious cult. And it's very bizarre. That's all I can say, because at this point I read it so long ago and it's less than 200 pages. There's one character that we meet by the end and I liked her. That's about it. That's all I can say about this book. I gave it a 3 out of 5 though, which now I'm thinking, I don't even, oh, yikes. I don't know. I don't know. It's fine. I filmed a YouTube video where I read this book and I probably do a better job at explaining my thoughts. August is over. It's fine. Yes, a book I was waiting years for, and I was quite disappointed. I absolutely adored A Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches. I loved it so much, and I thought in my eyes, Sangwoo cannot do wrong, and she can't do wrong. I just thought that the story had too much plot going on. When I want to read a cozy fantasy, I'm there for the vibes. I want something sweet. I want something cozy. I want something that doesn't make me think too much about the plot or what's happening. I'm there for a good time. I feel like in this story, Sangwoo was just trying to do too much with the storyline, and also the ending just didn't make sense to who the main character is and what she's wanted from the very beginning. Sarah Swan, she's supposed to be one of the most magical and strongest witches in her community, and she ends up bringing her aunt back from the dead and gets caught. So her powers get stripped. And we follow her maybe like 15 years later, 30 years later, can't remember. She's in her 30s. And she now owns an inn with her aunt. And there's a chance for her to get her powers back. So we follow her as she's trying to figure out a way to get her powers back. She meets this grumpy man who I can't tell you anything about because I just didn't care for their relationship either. A lot of misses with this story. I'm telling you, August started off really strong with Wild Dark Shore, What Hunger, and the Berry Pickers, and then midway through August, I had a lull of reading. I wasn't really reading. I didn't want to pick up anything. I wasn't truly enjoying the books that I read until I started my buddy read of Vengeful by V. Schwab. This is the second book in the Villains trilogy, I believe. The third book is coming out this year, next year, not soon enough. I am obsessed with this series. If you're a fan of superheroes, Marvel, specifically the X-Men, you should pick this series up. I enjoyed the first book more than the second book, but I still really loved the story. It's basically about two main characters, Victor and Eli, and the first book is them wanting to figure out a way to cheat death and gain powers, and they turn into extraordinaries is what we call them, and something bad happens while they're in college. And then we flash forward, Victor is 30-ish at that point, and Victor and Eli are on the outs and they're after each other. So that's the first book, and a lot more happens in the first book. The chapters are short, so you always feel accomplished when you're reading the book. This was just as good. I feel like I still like the first book more because we had more of an intimate storyline between Victor and Eli, which for good reason and for reasons that we'll get into in the second book, we didn't have. And we also get new characters in this book too. Nonetheless, I cannot wait for the next book. I need the next book, but I love V.E. Schwab. This book was on my September TBR, but I needed a book that would get me out of whatever funk I was in. And I'm so glad that Logan and I buddy read this, because this is a 5-star. This is one of my favorite books of the year. This has astrology in it. It's tied with Greek gods and goddesses. In the story, we follow our main character. Her name is Alara, and there is a prophecy about her saying that she's going to fall in love with the star, and she and the star are both going to die. Everyone thinks that it is this one star, the star of God and of war and wrath or something like that. So he goes to her kingdom and he kills her entire family, and she destroys the kingdom. So she runs away. Alara ends up getting caught by another kingdom, the kingdom of Helios, her arch nemesis. And so this is an enemies to lovers story, but don't worry, it's better than that, because I cannot stand an enemies to lovers where the enemies just drags on forever. That's not realistic. So this is truly, I'll give you one little tidbit. It's an enemies to acquaintances to lovers, because they end up teaming up to work on a task together. And that's really the back of the book, so I'm not really spoiling anything for you. I love the world building, especially since we do get astrology and a little bit about zodiacs and stars and how they all align with specific magical abilities. And let me tell you about the magic. The magic system is more so like elemental magic. I loved it so much, and I'm so glad that Logan and I waited this long to read this book, because the second book comes out in November, and you better believe that I will be going to get this book. And I know I said I'm on a book buying ban, but I want to add an asterisk to that. I'm not allowed to buy new standalones. I'm not allowed to buy new books, but I am allowed to buy new books in series that I've started that have come out. That's what I'm allowed to do. I'm allowing that because life needs to be a little bit fun, okay? That is my wrap up for August. I'm so glad that I can move on with September now. We can move on with September. I'm also going to end this video right here. I've chatted enough. I will see you in another video next week. I hope you have a great day. Bye.